Let me tell you, if you'd ever walked into our house that night, you'd have thought the world had just tilted off its axis, the twins screaming, their mother, Linda, with her face all twisted up like she'd been chewing on lemons for hours, stuffing her clothes into a worn-out bag like she was running from fire. My father, Peter, just stood there, hands trembling, voice gentle, but you could hear the hurt. The babies are crying. Linda, they need their mother. But she just shot back. They're no longer my concern. I'm leaving. She didn't even look at us, just zipped her bag and walked out, the door slamming like a gavel. You know that sound, the one that says nothing's ever going to be the same again. It's wild how quick peace can turn into chaos. 1 minute you're a family. The next it's just you, 2 3-month-old daughters, and the kind of silence that makes you wonder if anyone in the world would care if you just disappeared. Dad lost his job, and with it, Linda lost her patience. Every day was another complaint about the food, the room, the life he couldn't give her. But Dad, he never stopped trying, not just because he loved her, but because of us, Mary and Naomi, so small we could barely hold a bottle, let alone a grudge. That night, he held us, rocked us, whispering promises that felt too big for his tired arms. I may not have money, but I'll be the best father you could ever have. And you know what? He meant it. Next morning hit like a cold shower, nothing in the cupboards but hope, 2 babies hungry before sunrise, and not a penny to his name. But Dad, he didn't sit and cry about it. Instead, he strapped us to his chest, borrowed a rusty wheelbarrow, and hit the market, pushing loads twice his weight just for a few coins and some old lady's pity. People watched, some gave him a smile, some shook their heads. One lady even pressed a few bills in his hand, whispering, "You're doing a great job." Not everyone was kind, though one woman shouted loud enough for the market to hear, "Now you suffer alone. Where was your sense when you made those babies?" But Dad never let any of it break him. All he cared about was making it through for us. By sunset, his hands were blistered, back aching, but he'd earned enough for powdered milk and a few baby meds, thanks to a kind pharmacist who didn't judge him for not having enough. It was the start of a new routine. Every day that wheelbarrow, us strapped to his chest, Dad pushing forward because, really, what else was there? No mom, no family to help, just the 3 of us and the market crowds. Some days he didn't think he could do it, but each time we smiled, he remembered why he kept going. And then, like a blessing, Mama Caro showed up, old, poor, but with the softest eyes. "Let me take the babies today," she offered. Dad hesitated, but she insisted, and soon enough we were giggling in her arms, our faces sticky with milk, but full of happiness. From then on, every time Dad went to work, Mama Caro would look after us. We called her Mama because, honestly, she earned it. Years sped by. We didn't have fancy birthdays or private school, but Dad hustled to pay our school fees, bought our books, and more than that, taught us what it meant to work hard and be kind. At 18, we both graduated. Mary with a 325 on her exams, me with 341. We both got accepted to med school. The house was pure joy. For a moment, Dad puffed his chest and said, "My daughters, soon to be doctors." But that night, when the laughter faded, I heard him sobbing behind closed doors. No money, not even enough for one of us to start college. He tried everything, begged the neighborhood's rich folks to let him work as their houseboy, promising to sweep, cook, whatever, if they'd just help us. Each one turned him down. After a week of silent heartbreak, he called us in, voice shaking. "I'm sorry, my girls, I promised to send you anywhere, but now I can't even get you into college." It nearly broke him. But you know what? We hugged him and told him he hadn't failed. He'd done more than most parents ever could. That night, while Dad prayed for a miracle, we made a plan, deferred our admission, got jobs at a small restaurant. We worked long hours, saved every dollar, turned down every sleazy offer, and started dreaming about owning our own place. 7 months later, that dream became real. Our own tiny restaurant, neat and spotless, serving food made with love. Social media helped, word spread, and customers started showing up. The restaurant grew, the money stacked up, but we never stopped dreaming about becoming doctors. And then, fate tossed us a wild card. One night, Mary found a black briefcase under a chair stuffed with important papers and a fat stack of American dollars. We handed it to Dad, who said, "Let's wait. The owner will come looking." Sure enough, the next day, a fancy car rolled up and out stepped Prince Tony. We handed him the briefcase, expecting maybe a tip, but he just nodded, said thanks, and left. We laughed about it, half joking about Lady Dollars, but didn't think much of it. Until he came back. This time, Prince Tony led us to a huge building. "It's yours," he said, "for your honesty." That building, fully furnished, became our restaurant's new home. We ran to the market, hugged Dad, brought him to see it, his eyes filled with tears, the years of sacrifice finally paying off. We told him, "Dad, it's time to rest. Let us work for you now." He resisted, but we stood firm. The restaurant flourished, became the heart of our lives, and, most importantly, gave Dad the peace he deserved. We even took care of Mama Caro, renovated her house, paid her bills, made sure she never wanted for anything. But the universe has a twisted sense of humor. One day, a weary woman came asking for a job. We hired her to wash dishes. Something about her just felt familiar, but we couldn't place it. A few days later, Dad walked into the kitchen, came out pale and trembling. He sat us down, said, "That's Linda, your mother." The room spun. Our mother, back from the dead, it seemed, after years and 3 failed marriages. She sobbed apologies, but my anger boiled over. "You have to leave," I told her, pushing a wad of cash into her hand. "My real mother is Mama Caro." Naomi, ever the peacemaker, convinced me to let her stay, to give her a second chance. We promoted Linda to matron, hoping for some healing. But her old self resurfaced, bitterness poisoning the staff, customers leaving, the joy draining from our dream. Finally, we sat her down, told her she was destroying what we'd built. She spat back, insulted our father, and stormed out. We set her up with a small shop, gave her a chance to fend for herself, but kept our distance. With Linda gone, everything changed. The business soared. We expanded to new cities. Dad was happy, and peace finally settled in our lives. That old dream of medicine faded. Naomi and I realized our purpose wasn't in hospitals, but in the community we'd built through food and kindness. As we planned our weddings, we worried about leaving Dad alone. So we found him a wonderful woman, Madame Ruth, a widow with 2 kids. He hesitated, but finally agreed, and we all shared a wedding day filled with laughter, love, and Mama Caro, standing proud as the true mother of our family. Now, let me ask you, what would you have done in our shoes? Is forgiveness always the answer? Or is there a line even family shouldn't cross? Drop your thoughts below, because I know this story is going to hit a nerve. Let's talk about what real justice and second chances really mean.